Capital News tonight. One person is killed and more than 100 are made homeless by floods in Mtwara. President Dr. John Magufuli swears in new permanent secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. And in sports, government says Tanzania is ready to set training camps for their teams participating in the Qatar 2020 World Cup. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. One person was killed at Kivava village in Mtwara region after being swept by floods from Ruvuma River, which were caused by ongoing rains. In the incident, more than 100 residents from the village were rescued by Tanzania People's Defense Force after being engulfed by the floods, which have cut off road links between Mahurunga and Kivava villages.
The Rufiji River is full. From Mtwara region, we've seen bridges for a while now. In Kivava, there are 13 homesteads which were completely damaged. So far, we've had a report of one person dying. We managed to save 100+ people and brought them to safety.
President Dr. John Magufuli has sworn in Gerald Musabila Kusaya as the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Kusaya was sworn in at State House in Dar es Salaam, an occasion attended by various leaders including ministers, permanent secretaries, deputy permanent secretaries and leaders of defense and security organs. Speaking after swearing in the new permanent secretary, President Dr. John Magufuli said that he appointed Gerald Kusaya into the position because of the good work he did in leading the investigation team formed by Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa on cotton, Kushner, tobacco and sisal crops.
Kwenye wizara yenye mabodi haya mataasisi mengi, inawezekana hata mataasisi mengine hayahitajiki.
In a ministry with a lot of boards and institutions, some are no longer needed. Do we really need COASCO today when we have Tanzania audit? And in ministries, we have internal auditors. So you must go and make reforms in the Ministry of Agriculture. Since we moved irrigation from the Ministry of Water to the Ministry of Agriculture, I've not seen not one irrigation project that has been completed. And if there is one sector which is hopeless, it is irrigation. So you absorbed those who were in the Ministry of Water, who are hopeless, and you have embraced them, when the power to remove them lies with you. The power to change them is also in you. I'm simply giving you examples. This is why the issue on irrigation is just a dream. I don't think there is any irrigation project in the country which is functional. So this is why I decided to take you there so you could help. The Ministry of Agriculture has a lot to help this country. I know you've somehow started off well, and I see Deputy Minister is working so hard, which is very encouraging. So you must do better. Ministry of Agriculture should be the place to develop the economy of Tanzania.
Uchumi wa taifa letu. Hivyo basi, kwa kuteuliwa kwa mwenzetu.
Therefore, on your nomination, I'd like to welcome you, Honorable Gerald. Let us go and work with fellow servants in pushing this will so as to strengthen our country and its economy based on industrialization.
Uchumi wa viwanda ambao utategemea sana malighafi zinazotokana na mchango wa kilimo.
The Parliamentary Budget Committee has said they will readily approve the budget for implementation of the Julius Nyerere hydropower project due to its importance to the country's economic and social development. The chairman of committee, MP Mashimba Ndaki, said this in Morogoro after meeting a delegation from the Ministry of Energy.
Nataka niwahakikishie tu wa Tanzania kwamba
I would like to assure the people that the government, from the information we've received, is well prepared, particularly as far as the budget is concerned. As members of Parliament responsible for approving the budget, we cannot be the ones to disapprove because this project is very beneficial to Tanzanians. Once the project is complete, we hope to get reliable and affordable electricity to be used in the manufacturing industries. With regards to the construction of the dam, we were supposed to have made preparations including excavation of the dam, which was supposed to take place this August. So you can see we are 6 months ahead. We started well by constructing a railway line which will make it easier to transport workers and equipment.
The Secretary General of Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Dr. Bashir Ali, said leaders who have been voted by the people but fail to implement pledges made during campaigns contribute to loss of confidence of Tanzanians in participating in various elections, including the general election in October this year. Dr. Bashir Ali made the statement when responding to questions from journalists from IPP media houses after a tour at the Garden, East Africa TV and East Africa Radio, ITV and Radio 1, Capital Radio and Capital TV.
Uchaguzi usiwe chanzo cha kutugawa.
Let election not be the reason to divide us. Politicians, we seek votes, and sometimes we do so at whatever cost. Let's compete justly, but our nation's foundation, equality, unity, peace, togetherness, and justice, and freedom for the citizens to participate as inclined, should be the election compass for this year. Justice must be broadened. A big area where we must invest more effort is participation of women and the youth in the election. Let me assure you that there is no one in CCM who will be nominated if his record does not support his performance.
Lakini angalau tubadilishe mchakato. Na ule mchakato usiwe mchakato wa wanasiasa peke yao. Wavuvi wasikike sauti zao, wanahabari wasikike sauti zao, wafugaji wasikike.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court has sentenced businessman Emmanuel Tisala and co-accused Juhudi Motel to pay a fine of 5 million shillings or 1 year in jail after being found guilty of possessing and operating online TV known as Jumo TV without a license from Tanzania Communication Regulatory Authority TCRA. The court has also confiscated 4 computers, 4 microphones, a camera and 3 mobile phones which were used in their operations. However, the accused were freed after paying their fines. The government of the Revolutionary Council of Zanzibar has suspended flights carrying tourists from Italy to Zanzibar as a precautionary measure against the coronavirus entering the Isles. The move was announced by the Minister of Health in Zanzibar, Hamad Rashid Mohammed.
Kwanza nataka nichukue nafasi hii kidhati kabisa kuishukuru sana ofisi ya Mufti.
There are some aircrafts expected to come with tourists from Italy. We have advised them to wait until further notice. There was a moon party with more than 1,000 visitors. This too we've put on hold.
Nguvu zetu kubwa zile za pamoja zimeendelezwa katika bandari hizi kubwa kwa sababu tunasema maradhi haya hayapo nchini.
We have concentrated joint efforts in major ports because corona is not in Zanzibar nor Tanzania. If the virus is to enter our country, it will be through our airports and seaports, because a lot of Italians and the French come through mentioned entry points.
Wanapita kwenye hizi bandari bubu. Anyway, wanaweza kupita wakapitia Mombasa, lakini kwanza nguvu zetu tumezipeleka hapo.
Construction of the diversion road at Kiegea Bridge in Kilosa district is progressing rapidly so as to allow vehicles to go through and reduce congestion along the Morogoro-Dodoma road. Drivers and passengers in vehicles witnessed in long queues have called on the traffic police force to increase the number of officers in order to reduce congestion along the road.
Na askari wangekuwepo hapa kwa ajili ya kutuongoza. Kwa hiyo kwamba askari wapo lakini wako eneo la tukio tu pale, sio sehemu za huko baada ya kuvuka.
There should be officers to guide us. There are some at the bottom, but not up here.
Na usalama wa raia.
There should be a system to arrange the vehicles so they can leave without delay. The queues are too long.
Tunaomba sana kwamba madereva mabasi wawe wavumilivu.
I urge bus drivers to be patient and not block the road. They should stay on lane.
Kwa sababu yanaporuhusiwa sasa upande wa pili, huku nao unakuta kwamba tayari wamefanya nini? Wameziba.
Tanzania and the World Bank have agreed to continue cooperating in various areas such as education, infrastructure and social development through provision of loans, subsidies and grants from the bank in order to enable Tanzania bring about development and fight poverty. This was revealed during talks between officials of the World Bank and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi.
He is impressed with what the government of Tanzania has done since it came into power in 2015 on issues such as corruption, embezzlement of public funds, and better management of projects implemented by Tanzania or through the World Bank and other organizations. We've spoken about continued cooperation with America and other stakeholders too. He has assured us on constant communication to strengthen this relationship.
It was a fruitful meeting where the minister explained the reason why there is no discrimination and the benefit with which this amount will be beneficial to all Tanzanians, especially those who are not making it well in education, the most disadvantaged, and explained that in Tanzania there is really no discrimination of any sort. It's those in areas where things are much lower, where government is trying to improve.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly.
The Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority, TCRA, is calling on all TCRA licensed service providers to participate in the TCRA ICT Awards 2020, which aim to award best service providers in the communications sector. TCRA will award best performers in the following categories: mobile network operators, radio and television, online content service providers, multiplex operators, internet service providers, and postal and courier operators. All TCRA licensees are obliged to participate in this competition for the public to evaluate their performance and commitment. Guidelines for participation can be accessed at www.ictawards.tcra.go.tz. All TCRA licensed service providers should submit participation forms by 15th of March 2020. For more information, please call 080-000-8272. Improve life through ICT for industrial digital economy.
Welcome back, and in international news. The government has announced strategies aimed at addressing the threat of coronavirus. The Ministry of Health inaugurating an isolation ward with 120 beds for those found to be infected with the virus. Other measures taken by Kenya to address the threat of the virus include banning meetings and events, which will include foreign nationals in the country.
All points of entry. At all points of entry in this country,
there is mandatory screening. Now, there are those who may not realize that they are being screened because sometimes we are using thermoscanners. So I have heard people say, I passed by the place and I wasn't screened. You were screened. You just didn't know that you were. So let me make it clear. Nobody is going to come into Kenya without screening. At the airports, at the ports, we are making arrangements even in other areas where people walk into Kenya, let alone fly into Kenya, in Busia, in Namanga, and other centers. In that respect also, we are working with the East African community. This morning, we met with doctors from the 5 East African countries in my office, and this is all to work together with other nations. This is not a singular nation activity.
The Ministry of Health in Burundi has said it will quarantine for 14 days foreign nationals from some European and Asian countries affected with the coronavirus. Countries whose nationals will be isolated from visiting Burundi includes China, South Korea, Japan, Iran, Germany, Italy, France and Spain. The Ministry of Health Department of Combating HIV/AIDS is informing domestic and international public that all passengers coming from China, South Korea, Iran, Italy, Germany, France, Japan and Spain will be kept in a quarantine for 14 days once they land Burundi. We are calling on Burundians to stop traveling to countries that have been affected by coronavirus. Moreover, people should remain calm. Since 1st February 2020, we have not received any case of the virus in the country. On top of that, always consider washing your hands with soap and water. Scientists in Uganda have said that they are in the final stages of finding a vaccine to fight the HIV virus as an alternative to antiretroviral drugs. They say the vaccine will be given every 8 weeks.
Antiretroviral therapy is not yet here, but there is ongoing
Preventable antiretroviral medicine is not yet here, but there is ongoing research, and we are very hopeful that in the near future should be available. Once it will be available, this will definitely help people who are using ARVs not to take medications every day, but they will take medication once in 7 to 8 weeks. The vaccine will help in eliminating stigmatization and will reduce patients from avoiding taking medicines.
It also eliminates, the issues of stigma.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows next.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. The government has started to put in place strategies that aim to increase production of sunflower in regions that grow the crop in order to reduce importation of edible oil in the country. This was said by the Minister of Industry and Trade, Innocent Bashungwa, when addressing sunflower oil processors in Singida region. In the next financial budget of 2021, we will consider strategies of empowering sunflower cultivation. We have the challenge of getting licenses for oil production, contributing to low production of this product. New regulations established by the Bank of Tanzania in 2019 have helped to address challenges faced by customers when accessing various services from banks in the country. There are different methods of giving out solutions. According to our regulations, every bank has its specific duration in tackling challenges presented. Some take 6 to 8 hours, or sometimes can take a week, and the most complicated ones take 45 days to be solved. If a client has presented their complaints to a bank that he or she is saving in, and those complaints were ignored, once those complaints reach to us, we deal with the situation fast. The government, in collaboration with agriculture stakeholders, is committed to support small and big farmers, conducting farmers' activities that are productive and ensure sustainable environment conservation. This was said by the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Vice President's Office, Ambassador Joseph Sokoine, in Morogoro during the launch of a book on guidelines for inclusive and sustainable economic growth. The aim of this project is to empower farmers and those dealing in value addition in agricultural crops to accomplish certain things that will allow increase in productivity and manage environmental conservation. By doing so, farmers will be supported in one way or another carrying out their agricultural activities. Commercial farming demands certain things for productions to prosper, including land, water, and biodiversity that are used in sustainable manner. What we have launched today will enlighten agriculture stakeholders.
Zana ambayo tumeizindua leo inahakikisha kwamba wale wadau walioko kwenye kilimo, hasa wakulima wadogo, wakulima wa kati na wale wakubwa watakuwa wanajua nini wafanye.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Position, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
Welcome back, and in sports news. The Minister for Information, Arts, Culture and Sports, Dr. Harrison Mwakembe, says Tanzania is ready to cooperate with the Qatar 2020 World Cup organizers in making sure a few teams that will participate can camp in Tanzania prior to the competition.
Tuliwaruhusu kwamba tunaweza tukaweka kiwanja chetu cha taifa katika hali nzuri sana.
We told them that we can put our national stadium into the best condition so that the teams that will want to camp and train here a few days before the competition, they can use Tanzanian grounds for resting. I'm talking about the big teams in the world.
The national cricket team new head coach Stephen Tiklo is satisfied with performance of his team, which is preparing for the T20 competition to take place in April in South Africa.
I think the development, or call it the progress of the team, has been very good since we started training 3 weeks ago. Pleased to say that the boys are improving with each session. We're doing very well in both the departments, batting, bowling and fielding. And in fact today we had a fielding session at Anadil this morning, and the boys were up to it and did very well. In fact after the session I told them as the coach that I'm happy with what I'm seeing, but we cannot relax. We need to keep on working hard to improve our game all round through. And like I said, I'm happy with the progress of the team.
Stephen Curry scored 23 points for Golden State, his anticipated return after missing more than 4 months with a broken left hand. But the Toronto Raptors bet the Warriors to 121-113 Thursday night to clinch a playoff spot. Here's the report.
After being sidelined 58 games, Curry led Golden State out of the tunnel to a big ovation, as loud as his neon sneakers, one pink and one yellow. He missed his first 2 shots, but had 3 quick assists, including a no-look behind-the-back dish to Andrew Wiggins. He finished with 7 assists in 26 minutes. The two-time MVP hit a 17-footer for his first basket early in the second quarter, then got a huge reaction for a 3-pointer from well beyond the arc shortly before halftime.
The spread of coronavirus means it is likely that Premier League matches will be played behind closed doors this month, a club executive said. Here's the story.
Ryazantsev, the Everton chief financial officer, said banning fans from games in an attempt to slow the spread of the virus will be a decision imposed on clubs. However, with Italian authorities having taken the decision to play Serie A games behind closed doors until April, the possibility of something similar here is increasing. The Premier League, meanwhile, confirmed yesterday that fair play handshakes will not take place between players and match officials from this weekend due to the coronavirus.
And the Football Association has opened an investigation and contacted Eric Dier for his observations after the Tottenham player went into the stands and confronted a supporter following the FA Cup home defeat by Norwich on Wednesday. Here are more details.
Spurs have also begun an investigation and believe they know the identity of the fan involved. They are not considering a club punishment for Dier while they work with the FA to establish what happened. The ruling body is considering bringing a charge against the player. The incident happened after Norwich had won on penalties. Dier jumped over the advertising boardings and tried to reach the supporter who had become embroiled in a disagreement with Dier's youngest sibling, Patrick.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.